The T-Trak's modular system is very flexible. There are modules of all types and sizes. Modules can be made from multiple materials, from kits to scrap plywood, or even a wooden TV tray. However, get two critical dimensions wrong, and your module will not work with others, which potentially could let yourself down, or potentially others if you were bringing important modules as part of a group or a larger layout, and you don't want to be that person. So, to preventing those moments of awkwardness or you having to taking a chisel or tools to your layout to rework your track, in the hour before a show, this video will be showing how to use a simple tool so that you can assure that you have compatibility between your module and everyone else's before you go to the show. As I mentioned in the beginning, there are two critical dimensions that determine whether the track is going to be compatible between two separate T-Trak modules. The first critical dimension is the overall track, is the track spacing. T-Trak is set 33 millimeters apart, so the center lines must be exactly 33 millimeters apart. The second dimension is each unitrack piece must overhang the module, and you can just see it here. This module, you see this piece of track overhangs the plywood here by 1 millimeter. This overhang allows the unit joiners here to properly engage each other. They have little clips, so when you slide these modules together, they all nicely just snap. They snap together and hold together without any gaps. Also is a third dimension. It is not as it is important for setting up this tool. However, it's not completely 100% critical, and that is the distance from the edge of the plastic roadbed to the front edge of the module. This is normally 1.5 inches. Now, there are modules such as this module we're looking at here is a straight module with the track in the front. There also are junction modules like this one is built off of, where the main line is in the back, so the 1.5 inch dimension sits off the back. So it's while you could have 1.5 inches here, a module could have 6 inches in front, for instance. Or if you're doing a staging yard, for instance, these tracks here could literally be in the middle of your module to help facilitate, say, a double-sided, double-ended yard, for instance. They don't have to be on the end, but for typical applications of straights, corners, and junction modules, the 1.5 inches is normal. If you're using modules such as these, which are based on module kits, most of these have screw lines or maybe potentially etched center lines showing where the track is. And usually you can screw the track in if you're using the full pieces, and it will fit fine. You won't necessarily have to worry too much about the spacing or overhang, because it should be set right. However, if you're doing custom type tracks, which is what is being done with this particular module, or especially critical if you're building home-built modules, say out of scrap plywood, for instance, or foam core, you're not going to have those guides. So having a tool to assure you that you have appropriate overhang and spacing at the module joints is absolutely critical. For supplies to make these tools, and this whole process makes two, so you need to have two, because there is a right and a left side tool. Generally, what we need is you're going to need two pieces of a 1x4. So the 1x4s are nominally 3/4 inch thick, so you need two pieces 4 inches long. Then, in addition there, you're going to need two pieces of evergreen styrene. An important piece here, we want to make sure that you use is 040, 40 thousandths thick. The equivalent is it's not completely exact, but it's close enough to being 1 millimeter thick, which is important because this use of this will help to establish the overhang. So we need two pieces of that is 3/4 of an inch high by the same 4 inches long. Then, lastly, you're going to need a piece of a Cato Unitrak, the double concrete double sections. Now, this can be made from a number of different sections here. I literally cut these apart from I would believe it was, based on my measurements, a piece of 186 millimeter straight. So you could use the longer pieces if you have them laying around already, the 186 or the 248 millimeter piece. You can cut the piece in half or so and cut it to fit the block. It doesn't necessarily have to go the full depth of the 1x4. What you're really looking for is just the most important pieces right here is that interface. So, you could use, if you had a couple pieces of the 124 millimeter, it could be trimmed to fit, or probably maybe the most elegant way is use one package of the 62 millimeter straight. The 62 millimeter is about, so and so long or so. That you could put one piece here and one piece there. Now, once you've established all the parts, now it's time to put it together. What you need to do, and you can just see it on this line here, is measure in from the left side for one of the blocks, measure in 1.5 inches from the edge of the plastic road bed, and draw a line. Just draw a line straight this way against 1.5 inches from the left, and do the same 1.5 inches from the right. This will establishes the line where this Unitrak piece gets glued onto the board. Then for gluing, I prefer a kind of a goop material. This is the E6000. There's things like shoe goo, goop, these kind of goopy type of cements. The allow is that you can place it on, and there's some time that you can get it to set. It's not going to instantly glue down. You have time to move it around. So what we want to do is glue the piece so it's adjacent. The edge is adjacent to the line. But then you also want to do is have it so that the front edge of the track piece is right on the edge is flush with the edge of the wood. That's the important thing. Just right now, just flush to the edge of the wood piece. And then I would recommend get some blue painter tape and strap it down and let these dry. Once that track is dry, then you can take your styrene, which is cut to be the same size as the wooden block. Then you take the same type of cement, or hot glue, for instance. Hot glue could also work for both cases here, and just glue this styrene to the front of the block, so it's flush with the top. And what you want to do is make it flush with the, not necessarily super critical, but it's ideal, is make it flush with the front of the 1.5 inch size block piece. So to use the module, or to use the tool, we want to be able to get your track, your mainline tracks down, tack down. This is the way I like to use the E6000 goopy type glue. So this will allow for it to get the tracks down. It also allows some time to reposition. You could use things like latex caulk and things like that, but things like hot glue and glues are more instantaneous. Will not allow you the positioning time if things need to be adjusted. So again, you want to use the appropriate size, appropriate tool for the purpose. So this is going to be the right side tool. Don't mind this, as there is an extra track here on this particular module. We're just trying to do the gauge of the main line, which are the critical points. Extra tracks don't necessarily, they're on custom modules, don't necessarily have to follow the same. We want to do is follow the main line. So then all we have to do then is just get your track down, and then put your gauge spacing tool on, making sure that everything the unit joiners snap in appropriately. If they don't, adjust it, bring the tracks in the main line to adjust appropriately, so shouldn't be any gaps in between these tracks. Then I personally like to do is then I will then use my whatever weights or tape and hold this module down. I will leave the tool on the module until it is dry. And then the same can be done for the left side of the module. We can clamp it down, hold it in place, and then secure this side. Then I can make sure that everything is in the appropriate location for both sides. I will leave the tool in place until the cement that holds the track down securely. I don't want to accidentally trying to pull this off, shift things. So overall, use of a tool such as this will help making sure that your own regular modules that you build will be compatible for adding into any train show or exhibition layout. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more things on the T-Trak's modules, please give me a like. And also, if you want to continue to be notified of new videos, please set your full notifications on, and please subscribe. Subscribing does really help the channel, and it expands the reach of these videos much further. And thank you for watching.